Oh boy, it's time to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. The 2025 Cincinnati Bengals are a team with massive potential. They have a franchise quarterback, loaded receiving team, and are constant playoff participants, if not Super Bowl contenders. They even made a Super Bowl appearance back in 2022. But behind the scenes, issues with ownership and players over contracts have been going on for years. Everyone has heard the reports of 2 players refusing to report to mandatory minicamp over contract disputes, and they're also missing training camp, which has now begun. They don't call it the dog days of summer for no reason. This should come as no surprise. Owner Mike Brown has a history of refusing to pay players. It should also come as no surprise that the Bengals are one of 12 teams that have yet to win a Super Bowl. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe that is or is not a result of owner frugality and cost-cutting measures that extend beyond contract issues. Maybe the Bengals need a change in culture, or maybe the Bengals will continue to Bengal it up. Let's get into it. Now, the latest on the situation is that Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals have continued contract talks, but the Bengals are still in a sticky situation. The 2 players that are holding out of minicamp are, of course, Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart, and stop me if you've heard this one before, the Bengals are refusing to pay their players. Now, just as a friendly reminder, Trey Hendrickson was the sack leader in 2024 with 17.5 sacks. He also had 17.5 sacks in the previous year. In fact, since arriving from the Saints, Trey Hendrickson has had double-digit sack seasons and has been top 5 in sacks in 3 out of the last 4 years. I certainly can't understand why the Bengals don't want to pay this guy. It's not just Trey they don't want to pay. Yeah, that's right, we do corny puns on this channel. As I'm sure you've all heard, the Bengals' first-round draft pick Shemar Stewart did not sign his rookie deal and began minicamp without doing so. After there was no progress on contract negotiations, Shemar Stewart left minicamp and called out his team for how cheap they are. The Bengals are basically trying to introduce language into Shemar Stewart's contract that says if he makes a mistake or slips up, then his contract is no longer guaranteed. But wait, it gets worse. It's not just for the current year, but the entire contract. That's right, all the guarantees for his contract are just knocked off and the Bengals can basically cut him without consequence. Now, I don't know much about NFL contracts, but I do know that they're pretty standard at this point, or they should be. It really seems like the cheap Bengals are trying to, well, be cheap. And looking at the recent history doesn't help things either. Carson Palmer got traded to the Oakland Raiders in 2011 after threatening to retire amidst contract disputes, and Andy Dalton got released in 2020 after the Bengals drafted Joe Burrow. No transition year, no quarterback support, nothing. And just as a friendly reminder, Carson Palmer was in the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback room from 2003 all the way up until 2010. And Andy Dalton was with the Bengals from 2011 all the way up until 2020 when he was released in order to make way for Joe Burrow. Are the Bengals and Mike Brown doing something wrong or making a mistake? Well, nay to the former, but yay to the latter. I mean, let's be honest. You have a star of a quarterback in Joe Burrow and a QB's wet dream in Jamar Chase, plus T. Higgins for whatever he's worth. You have the NFL sack leader in Trey Hendrickson, and with your first-round pick drafted a young, promising defensive end, and you have one of the worst defenses in the NFL in 2024. You ranked 25th in points allowed, 25th in yards allowed, only had 36 sacks, and literally half of those sacks came from one player. Why are you not paying this man? Stewart apparently has several offers of various amounts to return to college football, which I understand isn't possible, but also is possible. If I were the Bengals, I would prioritize signing the key players in those areas of concern, and for the Bengals, that's their entire defense. And the language the Bengals are trying to put into Stewart's contract is well documented at this point. The offense is brilliant, the defense needs a lot of work, and it starts by signing those 2. I mean, what else are you gonna do? In 2024, the Bengals had a historic offense and didn't even make the playoffs. If you keep one of those players off the field, your defense gets worse, and both is worst case scenario. It's time for the Bengals to go all in for a shot at a Super Bowl. Oh, and by the way, the pass rusher market has been reset a few times this offseason, and Micah Parsons also needs to get signed. This isn't getting any cheaper for the Bengals. And I see here that the Pittsburgh Steelers have signed TJ Watt to a 3-year, $123 million deal. Oh, that makes TJ Watt the highest paid lead non-quarterback in the NFL, which means that the pass rush market will be reset again when Micah Parsons gets signed. Well, that doesn't make it any easier. That's all I have for you guys today. How badly are the Bengals messing this situation up? What would you do if you were either player? Tell me about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more NFL content and whatever else is going on in sports.